that we have $9 billion in the banking system, which again has a direct impact on our demand for foreign exchange and for liquidity. And it is supposed to be US dollars, but it's not really US dollars. It may have been some US dollars that were earned maybe in 2013 or 14, but really it's not US dollars that came from somewhere and was put somewhere and was stolen by somebody. It just isn't the case. Okay? It's purely electronic creation. I think you need to be clear, because there is this view that there's this big heist that has happened. I'm sorry, there's no logic in, there's no heist. There might have been a heist of Marange diamonds. That's possible. I don't know. That's real diamonds that could have been heisted or whatever. But in this particular case, this was electronic money created through the banking system. It's not as if the money that this money was not US dollars that flowed in and then somebody took it and then put some RTGS balances in the bank. It's just not the case. Okay? And I'm willing to, if anyone disputes that, I'm quite willing to have an argument with them about that. That's not how the banking system works. So there might have been corruption, but there's been no $9 billion heist. That's just bunk. That's all I can say. So, but the point is that this is a problem, because this $9 billion, all of us, you and me and my colleagues over here, we all believe this to be US dollars, because it says US dollar. But it's not US dollars. It never was US dollars. Some of it may have been, as I said, money which was earned by exporters or NGOs, which were money brought in, etc., or donors, etc. But that's a limited amount. The bottom line is that our imports are much more than our exports. Our imports are $7 billion. Our exports are about $5 and $5.5 billion. So any dollars that come into our country legitimately through diaspora remittances, through foreign aid and through export earnings, it's used to finance imports. And over and above that, since it is not enough even to finance the imports, if you speak to any businessman who's in the trading sector, you will find, and this is also, by the way, in the books of the Reserve Bank, the statistic is there. The Reserve Bank monthly, they print it in very small letters so that people don't look at it, but us economists enjoy that little print and we look at those little numbers. So you will find that the indebtedness of the private commercial sector has gone up to over $2 billion. In other words, private individuals in Zimbabwe, that's mainly businesses, have been given lines of credit and loans by people outside and suppliers equal to $2 billion. So they have been financing the imports, right? So it's the exports plus the lines of credit that's coming privately to individuals to finance goods and services, which have been financing the imports into the country. So anyway, let's come back to this $9 billion. The $9 billion is there, and we all believe, because it says US dollars, that's US dollars. So first and foremost, I have been saying for the last 5 years that this is not US dollars, right? But the problem was that, I won't go into the First Republic. There were whatever the issues over there were. There was no admission, and I would, but we once had an argument with the Minister of Chinamasa was here, and he got very upset, and with what I said, and he said, you're talking rubbish, and he got angry with Caleb and said, I'll throw you out outside. And anyhow, but when we went and had dinner with him, he said, actually, I agree with everything that you say, but what do you expect me to say in public? So we had a drink and we said, yeah, we're all good boys together, and we went home. Anyhow, the point that I'm trying to make is that this $9 billion is not US dollars. I have been saying it for 5 years. Nobody wants to listen. So I'm very happy now that somebody has not quite said it, but he has done something which implies that they are not US dollars. In the monetary policy statement, one of my recommendations for many years has been that the government of Zimbabwe the Reserve Bank should recognize that this money is not US dollars. You can call them anything. Anything you like. Some people call them Zollars, you can call it Mahari, whatever it is, you call it whatever you like, but it's not US dollars. So I've said, let's now create foreign currency accounts which are truly US dollars, and let there be an exchange rate between the two, let there be a market. So I'm very happy that the foreign currency account has been created, because although they haven't said so, because the governor and the Reserve Bank still claims that there is a 1-to-1 exchange rate between the two, but the moment you create an FCA, by implication, you have accepted the fact that the RTGS is not US dollars. There is something else called a Nostro FCA, which is real US dollars. So I think that that's a step forward.